Welcome to Japan Seikatsu. I'm Ian, and today I would like to talk about the Japanese superpower of attention to detail. In terms of natural resources, Japan is very poor. There is no gold, there is no oil. They're also located in a very difficult geographic region. You have earthquakes, you have tsunamis, you have volcanoes, you have typhoons, you have mudslides. And yet, despite all of this, or perhaps in part because of the culture that this difficulty created, you have one of the world's wealthiest economies and societies. And as with any success, there are always clues left behind that you or I can study to try to better understand and maybe incorporate some of this into our own life. And in Japan, I think a big part, what I call superpowers, Japanese superpowers, is the attention to detail that is so important in Japan. Now, anyone that has been to Japan or used Japanese products can see this everywhere. The trains run on time. Meetings start and end on time. If you've used Japanese products, for me, Toyota always comes to mind. They are so reliable. You can depend on them to always start, to get you where you need to get to. That's the same with the bullet train system, and I found that very, very true with my colleagues as well. Just this reliability that if somebody says they're going to do something, they're going to do something. And down to the detail levels, they really, really get that well. So the question is, why? How did this culture create this focus on details that's so widespread? And it's I think it's a very complex question, and there's no succinct answer, but a few thoughts. First of all, I think it starts when Japanese are young in the schooling system. Just thinking about the kanji system, the writing system, there are thousands of kanji, and a single stroke can change the entire meaning. And so just the process of learning Japanese really starts to train your mind on how important the details are. And this is something that's learned from lower, middle, and upper school in Japan. But another aspect that I think is important and is slightly different from my experience when I grew up in the US is there's much more focus on the group, on the team in Japan, and much more focus on the individual, broadly speaking, in the West. And when you're responsible for the group success, all of a sudden getting the details right becomes much more important. If I make a mistake and it's a miss and it just reflects on me, that's one thing. But if I have a group of peers and I make a mistake and it's going to reflect poorly on the entire group or bring shame on the entire group, I feel much more those, 5 pairs of eyes, those 10 pairs of eyes, to make sure that I do my part not to stick out, not to let others down. And I think that trains the mind to get those details right so that you can have group success. And I think this is a principle of success in successful organizations. I mean, if you take a look at NASA, for example, preparing for a shuttle launch, everybody on the NASA team knows that it needs to be perfect. There needs to be redundancy so that no matter what, that shuttle launches successfully. And it literally comes down to life or death. And so everybody feels the pressure of that. And that really brings out the best in every single team member, because they want to have that success of the team, and you need to get those details right. How can you or I improve our focus of details? Number one is to take a repairing a jet engine mindset to everything that you do. And what I mean by that is the details matter. When people repair jet engines, if there's a weakening or wear or tear in a blade, even if it's at the microscopic level, you can't even see it with the naked eye, that could result in taking an aircraft down. So everything matters, and even stuff that's beyond your remit. If you see a screw in the back end of the engine, or you see a wire that's loose, reach out to whoever's responsible for that area just to make sure, is this supposed to be loose? Because the consequence of that could be so catastrophic. So take that mindset to everything that you do, and you'll find that you're paying closer attention to details. Number 2 is to keep in mind that you're connected to everyone. So your success is the team's success, and the team's success is your success. And this isn't something that you can do alone. Anyone that's been on a team knows this to be true. You have to support your team members, and they need to support you. And that all of you collectively can do much more than all of you individually can do. Number 3 just comes with experience. The more that you do projects, the more experience you have under your belt, the more you'll be able to kind of gauge which details are important, which details are less important. Number 4 is to be more nervous. Take ownership. Don't be casual. Do you want to have a casual, relaxed doctor? Do you want a casual lawyer? Do you want a casual engineer on charge of repairing that jet engine? No, you want somebody that is nervous, is almost a little bit paranoid, is worried about what could possibly go wrong. Have I checked this? Have I checked that? If you take that mindset before an event, before a project, then you'll put out a lot of fires before they occur. So take the mindset of, I am nervous, I want to test everything to make sure that it works. And the more that you practice and do the preparation, the more successful the project will be. Number 5 is to just triple check your work. I do that all the time. I never send an email without myself double checking, triple checking. And I'll tell you, you find you're just leaving a trail of mistakes around. But if you start to train your mind that I'm looking for my own mistakes, then you naturally get better at catching those small mistakes. That attention to detail antenna gets stronger. So get in the habit of, don't just send out a rough draft to individuals. Try to send out your best work with everything that you do. Give it a check. If you need to just step away for a while to hit it with a fresh pair of eyes, do that. But double check, triple check your work. Number 6 is to get an outside sanity check. So if you're working on, let's say, a document or a press release, a project outline, get a colleague to hit it with a sanity check to kind of battle test this. And you'll find that they catch a lot of mistakes that you couldn't catch. Often we're too far in the weeds, and it's difficult, as I said earlier, to see our own mistakes. So get a colleague to check it. And now that will result in a better end product because it's been battle tested so many times from so many different angles. But it'll also train you to see, oh, I made a mistake there. Oh, I made a mistake there. And again, that strengthens even further your attention to detail. Finally, take care of the small disciplines. If you do a really good job while the sums are small, you'll find that you're entrusted with much larger projects. So focus on the small things at first, and you'll find that more and more is entrusted to you. But it all starts with getting those small things correct. So anyone that has lived or worked in Japan, you've seen it, you've felt it, this attention to detail, it just is seeping through the culture, and you'll absorb it into your own blood. And it's a great muscle, it's a great skill set to strengthen, because it can really be a competitive advantage as you build your career. And if you're doing something related to Japan, working for a company in Japan or a Japanese company or anything related to Japan, it is mission critical. And I know many people in the Japan Seikatsu audience are passionate about Japan. So it's something that I highly recommend that you look at and you focus on. But living in Japan is a great way to boost that skill set. It's very similar if you wanted to get excellent self-discipline. You know, you join the army and you do boot camp, and you'll pick up some very strong self-discipline, attention to detail. Where would you like to be? Well, connected to Japan. That's where you'll pick up a lot of that attention to detail. Well, I hope this was helpful. I want to do more content on Japanese superpowers, as I call them, which are different aspects of their culture that you and I can try to absorb ourselves to further our careers, to further self-development. So if you're interested in this type of content, please do let me know down in the comments section. As always, make sure that you like and share this content. We want to build the Japan Seikatsu community up. We are a community that is passionate about Japan and building a career in life in Japan or connected to Japan. As always, thank you for your time.